One book, one extraordinary life. 48 chapters of saints, science, and the search for God.
I'm Kai,
And I'm Maya.
and this is our take on Autobiography of a Yogi, chapter by chapter. A 12-year-old boy asks a simple question under a tree at a picnic, and the answer that comes out of the guru's mouth is inevitable and impossible to take back.
Chapter 28, Kashi, Reborn, and Rediscovered. We're back at the Ranchi school. There's an 8-mile hike to a neighboring hill. It's a beautiful day, the kind where a group of students feels lucky to be alive and outside. Yogananda has taken them along. They stop at a pond. The water is cool, inviting, and he says to everyone, "Please do not go into the water. Let us bathe by dipping our buckets." Most of the students listen, but a few of the boys can't resist. They dive in anyway.
And then what happens?
Water snakes. Just harmless moments of comedy, really. The boys scrambling out of the water, everyone laughing at the near miss. It's one of those moments where you realize the guru's guidance isn't arbitrary. He'd seen it, and the boys had to learn through their own experience.
So they reach the destination and set up for the picnic. And that's when the questions start coming. Spiritual questions. The kind of thing that teenagers ask when they sense there's more to life than what they can see. One boy asks, "Sir, if I shall always stay with you in the path of renunciation, what will be my fate?" And Yogananda answers with care. He's surrounded of students asking questions, all gathered around him in that moment of natural inquiry.
And then this boy named Kashi speaks up. About 12 years old, brilliant, beloved by everyone at the school. Everyone knows him. He's one of those kids who lights up a room. He asks his question too. "Sir, what will be my fate?" And something moves through Yogananda in that moment. Something prophetic. Something he can't hold back. He says, "You shall soon be dead." The words come out with an irresistible force. Yogananda describes it like the reply came from his lips with an irresistible force, like something larger was speaking through him.
Wait, what? He just told a 12-year-old boy that he's going to die soon? In front of everyone? All the other students are watching?
Yes, the words land like a stone. The students go silent. Everyone there hears it. Kashi is devastated. His face, you can imagine it. And Yogananda knows immediately what he's done. He feels what he calls an enfant terrible, a guilty child caught saying something terrible. He refused to answer any more questions after that. He couldn't. The damage was done.
That's incredibly harsh. I mean, I understand what you're saying about the guru seeing the truth, but from a 12-year-old's perspective, you just heard your guru say you're going to die.
It's raw. It's devastating. And Yogananda carries the weight of that moment. But here's the thing about a guru's knowledge. It's not a guess. It's not a fear. It's clear sight. Yogananda sees this boy's trajectory completely. He knows what's coming. And maybe in some deep part of his consciousness, he has to name it, to acknowledge the reality he's perceiving. It's not cruelty. It's a kind of honesty that only happens when you can see across time.
So they return to the school. That evening, Kashi comes to Yogananda's room. He's been processing the words all day. He's been sitting with this knowledge. And he asks the question that a 12-year-old boy would ask, the only question that matters to him. "If I die, will you find me when I am reborn and bring me again to the spiritual path?" He's sobbing. He's terrified. But underneath the fear, there's this profound trust. He believes the guru can actually do this. He believes love can reach across lifetimes. He's asking for a promise.
And Yogananda makes a promise. "Yes, I promised. If the Heavenly Father lends his aid, I will try to find you." But Kashi keeps asking. Night after night, he comes to Yogananda's room, pressing him, because the promise feels fragile to him. The words feel like they might evaporate, like Yogananda might forget. And finally, seeing Kashi unnerved to the breaking point, seeing the boy at the edge of despair, Yogananda consoles him with absolute certainty. "If the Heavenly Father lends his aid, I will try to find you." He repeats it. He makes it ring with certainty, because Kashi needs to know that this promise is unbreakable.
And then summer vacation comes. Yogananda has to leave for a trip. Before he goes, he calls Kashi to his room. This isn't a casual conversation. This is a guru preparing a disciple. He instructs him with great care. Remain against all persuasion in the spiritual vibrations of the school. Don't go home. Don't let your family pull you away. Stay here. Stay in this energy. Because somehow Yogananda feels that if Kashi leaves the school, something bad will happen. Not a guess, a knowing.
But of course, that's exactly what happens. That's always how it goes, isn't it? Yogananda hasn't even left Ranchi when Kashi's father shows up. The man is determined. He's tried to convince Kashi to come home. He's offered compromise.
Just 4 days with your mother in Calcutta, then you can come back. Just 4 days. But Kashi refuses. He's following Yogananda's instruction. He's terrified of defying the guru. And the father gets angry. He threatens to involve the police. He says he'll drag Kashi home by force if he has to. He sees this as a guru keeping him from his son. He doesn't understand what's at stake. And Kashi, who's only 12, terrified of causing trouble for the school, terrified of creating conflict, finally gives in. He sees no way out. He loves his mother. He doesn't want to defy his father. And he's just a boy. How much can a boy of 12 resist a parent who's threatening police?
So he leaves, and Yogananda comes back to Ranchi a few days later. When he learns that Kashi has been removed, he gets in a horse cab immediately. No hesitation. He's driving toward Calcutta. He's going to find this boy. And then, at the Howrah Bridge over the Ganges, they pass the caravan. Kashi's father, family members, everyone in mourning clothes, everyone wearing white. And Yogananda sees it. He calls out in a voice that he himself describes as somewhat unreasonably. He shouts, "Mr. Murderer, you have killed my boy." He's not speaking from anger. He's speaking from grief and truth.
And the father already knows he made a terrible mistake, a catastrophic mistake. During the few days Kashi was with him in Calcutta, the boy ate contaminated food, cholera, a disease that kills fast and completely, within days. And exactly as Yogananda had foreseen, the prediction wasn't punishment. It was just the truth. The trajectory that Yogananda could see from across time. And now it's happened. The boy is dead. And the father understands in that moment at the bridge that he killed his own son by not listening to the guru.
And that's when Yogananda's love becomes something extraordinary. His grief doesn't end. His connection to Kashi doesn't end. The promise he made to find Kashi after death and bring him back to the path, that becomes the consuming focus of his being. He writes about it with such raw emotion. He says, "My love for Kashi and the pledge to find him after death, night and day haunted me. No matter where I went, his face loomed up before me. I began a memorable search for him, even as long ago I had searched for my lost mother. It consumes him. This isn't academic. This is a guru-disciple love that transcends death."
So he's searching for a soul, not a body, a consciousness that's going to be born again somewhere, in some form, at some time. And the method he uses is extraordinary. He writes, "Using a secret yoga technique, I broadcasted my love to Kashi's soul through the microphone of the spiritual eye, the inner point between the eyebrows." He's not praying in the conventional sense. He's using a technical practice, a yoga method that allows him to project his consciousness across dimensional boundaries. With antenna of upraised hands and fingers, he turns himself around and around, trying to locate the direction in which Kashi has been reborn. He's like a human radio receiver, searching for Kashi's frequency. His own nervous system becomes the instrument.
So for 6 months, he's doing this practice, every day, searching, broadcasting love, looking for the electromagnetic trace of a soul that's been reborn somewhere in the world. Not sleeping much, not resting, just searching, broadcasting, every day, 6 months of this. And then one morning, he's walking in Calcutta with a few friends, the Bobazar section, crowded, chaotic, normal, and something happens. His hands lift in the usual manner, and for the first time, there's a response.
He feels electrical impulses trickling down his fingers and palms, like an actual current, real, physical, tangible. These impulses translate themselves into a thought. "I am Kashi, I am Kashi, come to me." It's Kashi's voice, in his own characteristic, slightly hoarse whisper. Yogananda hears it over and over, the answer to 6 months of calling, 6 months of broadcasting love into the void, and finally, a response.
Hold on, he's hearing Kashi's actual voice in his consciousness, like an auditory experience? Not just a feeling or an intuition, but an actual voice?
Yes, the text is very specific about this. It's audible. It's in Kashi's characteristic whisper. And Yogananda seizes the arm of one of his companions, Prakash Das. He smiles joyfully and says, "It looks as though I have located Kashi." He knows. He doesn't fully understand how, but he knows. The electrical impulses are a signature, a recognition. This is Kashi answering from the astral dimensions. This is proof.
Okay, and then he starts moving, following the impulses. He turns this way, that way, and the currents disappear when he turns in other directions. But when he faces a certain path, the currents strengthen. It's like following a compass needle that only works in his nervous system. His body is a divining rod. And that path leads to a real street in Calcutta called Serpentine Lane. He walks with his companions.
The vibrations grow stronger, more pronounced, like a magnet pulling him toward the right side of the road. They get closer. The vibrations intensify. And then he sees a house. And in that moment, Yogananda says, Kashi's soul must be living in the womb of some mother whose home is in this lane. He's absolutely certain. The electrical impulses have led him to the exact location.
So he knocks on the door, in a state of intense excitement. He can hardly breathe. He's been searching for 6 months and now he's here. A servant opens the door. She says her master is at home.
The master descends the stairway, smiling, curious. Who is this Swami at the door? And Yogananda asks, please tell me, sir, if you and your wife have been expecting a child for about 6 months? And the man says, yes, it is so. He's impressed that Yogananda somehow knows this. A complete stranger knows about his wife's pregnancy.
And Yogananda asks if he can give the newborn child a blessing when it's born. The man agrees. There's something in Yogananda's presence that compels agreement. And then the child is born. And when Yogananda looks at the newborn's eyes, he knows. There's recognition there. Something in the child that remembers him. The eyes are the window. That's where the soul looks out. And Yogananda sees Kashi looking back at him across the barrier of reincarnation. It's not imagination, it's recognition.
What happens next is maybe even more extraordinary. Yogananda performs a spiritual practice. He transmits the teachings directly into the child's consciousness, not through words, because the baby can't understand words, but through a transmission of energy, of memory, of recognition. The child responds extraordinarily, like something in the baby's deep being recognizes the guru and the promise that was made, like the soul remembers.
And this is where the reincarnation teaching becomes something other than philosophy. It's not abstract, it's not theoretical, it's practical. The soul is real, rebirth is real. The guru-disciple connection persists across death. And love actually has the power to find someone across the barrier of rebirth and bring them back to the path. It's not magical thinking, it's the operation of laws that most people don't understand.
The teaching underneath all of this is that karma is real, but not absolute. The guru's love can intercede. A promise made in one lifetime can be kept in the next. The connection doesn't disappear just because the body does. If the bond is real, if it's rooted in something deeper than attachment, it persists, it endures, it reaches across death itself.
And the guru's responsibility doesn't end with the disciple's death. Sri Yukteswar told Yogananda years ago that the guru's work continues across lifetimes. The seeds planted in one lifetime grow in the next, and if a disciple dies prematurely, the guru has to search for that soul and bring it back. That's not burden, that's love. That's the promise. That's what makes the guru-disciple relationship the deepest bond that exists, deeper than family, deeper than any other human connection.
It's the opposite of what we usually think about relationships. You die, and it's over. The contract ends, the connection severs. But this is saying that the real relationship, the spiritual one, actually gets stronger across death because it's freed from the limitations of the body. When the body dies, the connection becomes more direct, more pure, more powerful.
Right. And Yogananda's search for Kashi, broadcasting love for 6 months, following electrical impulses down a street, recognizing the child's eyes, that's not magic. It's the natural result of a love that transcends physical death. The guru who makes a promise with that level of consciousness can keep it, not because he has special powers, but because his consciousness operates on a dimension where time and space don't limit what's possible. He's operating from a level of reality where the separation we experience through the body doesn't exist.
Yeah. That changes how you think about promises made in love, not as temporary, not as ending with physical death, but as enduring across rebirths. And that puts an enormous weight on the bonds we form. If the bond is real, it will persist. It will find its way across any barrier. It will be kept.
It's also saying something about what the guru's love actually is. It's not sentimental. It's not possessive. It's not about needing the disciple to stay alive to feel complete. The guru's love is so unconditional that it can follow the disciple through death, search for him through reincarnation, broadcast itself across dimensional boundaries, and bring him back to the path. That's a love that's rooted in God, in the absolute, not in ego, not in personal need.
And I think that's what makes this story so profound. It's not just Yogananda finds his student after reincarnation. This is what guru-disciple love actually looks like when it's real, when it's not bound by time, when it's not limited by the body, when the promise is made with the full consciousness of the eternal soul, not just the personality. When a promise is made from that level, it can reach across death itself.
You know, this chapter asks us what love actually is, because most of our love is attachment, it's need, it's fear of loss. But this kind of love, the guru's love for the disciple, it's something else entirely. It's not diminished by separation. It's not stopped by death. It continues, it searches, it finds, it keeps the promise. That's what real love is.
Next time, we're covering 2 chapters at once. Rabindranath Tagore, the Nobel Prize-winning poet, visits Yogananda's school. Two great educators comparing notes on how to awaken the whole human being. The Ganges, the school, the meeting of these two extraordinary minds. And then we go deep into the law of miracles, the most philosophically dense chapter in the entire book. What is reality actually made of? What does Einstein's theory of relativity have to do with saints walking on water?
The bridge between faith and reason, between the miraculous and the scientific. Because Yogananda's whole argument is that there's nothing mystical about miracles. They're just applications of higher laws that most people don't understand, laws that operate at the level of consciousness itself.
See you next time.